Oh snap! Like you're gonna do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently, dude, like again, I don't know if they're true. That yeah, again, anything you read on the internet, you have to take it with a grain of salt. But like, apparently, there was rumors that they were originally supposed to kill him off in the first writing of the movie. But
Oh, really?
I guess Kevin Feige liked Toby and Andrew so much that they again we're gonna touch on it like really quick later on, but like that they might bring him back in for future projects. So I don't know.
Well, my friend was telling me how like he thought he I don't think he read it. I think he just thought like maybe they like audience tested that scene
Mm,
and people were like, nah, you can't do that, you
mm,
know. And honestly, if that would have happened, the movie still would have been a great movie. You know what I
mm,
mean? It'd have been good, but it would have been so much like every other movie. You know what I mean? And
mm,
it'd have been like, all right, like you can't don't do this because one problem I have with I don't even want because spoilers and stuff like that, you know, but like some of the Star Wars movies where they kill characters, it's like,
mm.
dude, you can't kill somebody every movie.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? What's going on here, man? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You got to find other ways to pull my heartstrings. There's stories, but even like with the Hulk, comic book stories where things happen, and yeah, people die, but it's like you set it up where it's more than just a death that
Mm-hmm.
makes you sad. It's like people being disappointed, people like having like heartbreak other ways, not just romantic, but like you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like being like somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of different ways uh to get these things across. The
Mm-hmm.
movie is already doing a great job of making me feel a whole bunch of stuff. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Do not take out like the most nostalgic and heartwarming character. This guy's like a glass of like warm milk right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't shatter that on the floor for the sake of like a moment that's unnecessary. Because I
Mm-hmm.
felt enough pain right now. Don't do this
Yeah.
to me. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. So then, like, it takes us to the like, the movie. I'm happy, like I said, I'm happy they addressed it real quick. They're like, yeah, I've been stabbed before. I'm fine. And then
Yeah.
the end of the movie is Doctor Strange cast. Doctor Strange, like all like these villains from these other universes are coming through because again, the pumpkin bomb exploded in the little box that he had, and it just the multiverse was just breaking. So then,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
and they had the
So
silhouette of the rhino. That's the silhouette I saw. I saw the rhino silhouette up there, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on? Am I gonna see Miles Morales silhouette?"
yeah. Apparently, Craven was also there too in the silhouettes.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't see him. I saw that horn. I was oh.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. But basically, the only way that everything was able to like get resolved was that no, like everyone needs to forget who Peter Parker is. Like it's like if Peter
Yeah.
Parker never existed, and
Hmm.
then it goes back to what we said at the beginning of this. This was an origin story of a coming in age story that like
Hmm.
the dude's a kid turning into a man, and then he put on his big boy pants for this one. He was like, you know what, man, do
Yeah.
it. You have to do it, and he does it,
Yeah.
and it was honestly so emotional because it's like he said, it's like man has nothing now. Like he legitimately has
Yeah.
no one. Like none, Avengers don't remember him. MJ doesn't remember him. Ned
Yeah.
doesn't remember him. It's heartbreaking, man.
But he to me he became who Tobey Maguire was
Mm,
in Spider-Man 1, right?
mhm,
He's in the city, he doesn't have like a best friend like that. He doesn't have a girlfriend.
mm,
Like he's on his own. He suffered this crazy ordeal with his losing a parent, you
mm,
know, and he's out there and he still has a responsibility to care for the city who he now knows for sure like doesn't really care for him that much. You know what I'm saying? Like
mm,
like they made their notions clear, their emotions, their feelings towards him clear earlier on in the movie. So he still has to protect them. And now he's like a man in the movie. And going back to the comics again, like, this happens with Miles Morales too. Like the Spider-Man movies for this Tom Holland took a lot of
mm,
things from Miles Morales and his origin story, the characters, the setting, a lot of things like that. So it was crazy to see him now kind of going through the same thing. Because I think I remember the issue of Miles Morales is hard to follow for me
mm,
because he was like it was Spider-Man, no, it was all new Spider-Man, it was Miles Morales Spider-Man,
mm,
So but I remember when he becomes Spider-Man proper and gets like more like an adult age, like he's like, I think I forgot how old he is exactly. He's more like, you can see in his build and his character, that he's older. He's in an apartment building and he's like, I'm Spider-Man, So that reminded me of that so much, and I was like, man, like we have to go through all this to get him here, because he couldn't just move out of his house on May, and you know what I mean, like, and he can't go to school, obviously, not like that. So it was pretty amazing, man. That scene, that whole journey was kind of necessary.
Yeah, and then we get back to the OG, like legitimately the most comic accurate, like red and blue suit that we've gotten in any movie, I think. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been complaining that there was no like no Toby, no like Andrew Garfield type of swinging scenes in Tom Holland's ones, but this one was amazing. Like the background music, everything, him swinging through New York during Christmas.
Yeah.
And again, this movie.
Well, we also don't forget the whole situation with the cafe.
Oh yeah. I mean, do you want to set it up? Because like, dude, I think that's another movie that again, so good.
Well, he goes to the cafe and he goes to see MJ. He knows MJ works at that cafe. Early in the movie, when they did the MIT thing, they showed that she worked in this cafe, and like so when he goes to find her, right? Because before when they kissed and said I love you or whatever, did he say I know? By the way, like there was a scene where he was pretty much telling MJ like I'm not gonna see you again, and then she says I love you. And I think my friend that I went there with, he said that Peter said, I know.
No, that would have been a cold line by Peter, but no. He was about to say, I love you, but he just got the eye out. And then like, MJ's like, no, like, don't say it now. Like, say it when you find me.
Oh, I'm about to say, like, this is some Han Solo stuff right here for real right now. You know what I'm saying? This guy's about to go to Carbonite. All right, well, in that case, well, anyway, they're in the cafe, and he knows she works there. So he goes to see her. And they have this whole awkward exchange where he's like trying to talk, but he sees that she looks up and is looking at him, and the audience, I mean, the audience was like, "Whoa, what's going on? Like, does she remember him? Is their love so strong that magic can't keep them apart? You know what I mean? Like what's going on?" And it's Ned. Ned is behind him coming in, and I thought, and I think the rest of the theater thought also, that her and Ned were a couple. Right?
That's what I thought too. I was like, holy crap. Yeah.
And this is when my brain it's like a flood of thoughts happened where I was like, okay, so Ned and her are together. Peter makes her remember that they were in love. They get together and fall in love. Ned becomes angry, becomes a supervillain, tries to kill Peter. Oh my gosh. Like, you know what I mean? He dies in Peter's arms. So I thought that they were gonna do that. That whole, Harry Osborn MJ thing, and I didn't want to see that. So I'm glad they didn't really push that too much. But yeah, anyway, he chooses not to remind them of who he is. He ends up just ordering a coffee and being like, all right, well, you guys, I'll see you next time. Yeah. And I think that was a part a lot of people complain that complain, but they said they didn't like, but I liked it because it left him in the same place that Spider-Man has been in the past, and it's what Spider-Man would do. As Spider-Man that we know, even though we don't agree with the things he does, he always does these things. He always tries to protect people by not telling them things. So it's like, what do you expect him to do, man? He sees them in like a happy situation. They both got into MIT, and they were safe. He saw what happened when people found out who he was. He knows he can't have the world forget who he was again if he makes a mistake. Yeah. So at the very least, he gave them time to chill. So.
No, 100%. And then like, dude, like, like I mentioned before, you get the swinging scene and all that, and then you get the post-credit scene. And also another thing, I have to say this too, man. John Watts, that song you decided to put in the end credits scene right after like you had people just tearing up, like the 3 is the magic number. That was a banger song. I'm still listening to, like, I'm like working out, I'm still listening to him. I'm like, yeah, this is really good. I'm always gonna remember that song. I was like, that was a song that I listened to right in the end credits after I like started tearing up after all the emotions this movie put me through. But
well, what's that? The end credit scene? Oh yeah, the end credit scene was Tom Hardy, right?
Yeah. And then you get the little he gets transported back to his universe, and then you get the little symbiote thing too there. So that can probably lead to where things are going now. So, man, we went through the whole movie, and this should just show you guys how big of fans we are of this movie. Like this movie was chef's kiss. So like
magnificent, man.
it
Like
wa-
you can't ask for better. Than well, okay, the Venom thing.
Mhm.
I know that it kind of felt rushed, whatever it is, but this is my theory on this. Because Tom Hardy has his scene, and then like he's talking as Venom. I don't even know where he is, but he's talking as Venom and talking to Venom and talking to the bartender, and he ends up getting teleported back, but they leave a little piece of Venom there, a little piece of the symbiote. Now people are saying like, well, why does Tom Hardy get transported there? He doesn't know who Peter Parker is, right? But I think, and this is a stretch, but I think the symbiote knows who Peter Parker is, right? Because the symbiote in the second Venom movie, I think, said something about other worlds or something that I forgot what he said, but it's something that made me think that like
something about like the hive, like all the minds like of the hive, like of the symbiote, like are linked together, so you have like millions and millions of like years of like memory and stuff.
Something like something like that. And I was like, he talking about the multiverse, you know, and that's why I think it happened. I think that like honestly, much as I do like the Venom movies in the sense that like I love Venom as a character, so I'm gonna watch his movies, right? Even though Spider-Man's not there, but the connection between Spider-Man and Venom is like so amazing. Like Venom is in love with Spider-Man, and the symbiote was Peter's first. It fell in love with Peter. Like I'm talking about, like this thing loves this guy. You know what I'm saying? And Peter was like, "Yo, you crazy? I gotta go." And now it's like some scorned lover. That's how much the symbiote hates Peter, but the symbiote also loves Peter. And there's many times where Eddie Brock is like in trouble, and the symbiote is like, "I'll just go back to Peter then." Yeah, you know what I mean? Like so it's a lot of like of that makes that character so great. So I'm really looking forward to seeing one, Peter interact with the symbiote, and two, are they going to cast somebody new as Venom, or is the Tom Hardy of that universe, this universe, going to get the Venom suit, but now the proper suit, you know, with the spider in the middle or the tarantula or whatever in the middle, and really embody the character. So that's what kind of got me excited about that scene.
See, like now that also bold me another question though too. Do you think, since if they're gonna cast another like person in the MCU, do you think they're gonna like bring Andrew Garfield back in the Sony verse, like with Venom, like kind of have like their own Spider-Man, and then the MCU has Tom Holland? Because they're kind of already doing it with Batman, to be honest. So like, why can't they do it with Spider-Man? And like, I feel like now people already love these peeps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then it's like, I don't think so. I mean, it could, but the reason I don't think so, because you can be totally technically from a Sony verse, Sony situation too.
Yeah.
I mean, he had his own, Topher Grace situation going on. So like, like that's different. But I think they should use him for Spider-Man. They should keep the Spider-Verse thing going. Have the Spider-Verse be, and I think that's what Sony wants. I think, I don't know, like they want a Spider-Verse because they're like, we put all this money into these characters over these 2 decades or whatever. So let's combine everything. Let's have our own thing. I don't want them though to have their own thing and then try to pull away from Marvel. Now, I don't really care who owns Spider-Man as long as the stories get told, right? I don't really have like oh man, Marvel got to do it. I want Spider-Man to have good stories because it's like Spider-Man is an uplifting story. I like superheroes obviously, but I like Spider-Man in a way where it's like he's the one that makes me feel like, yo, you can do anything you want no matter what. Like you could like Batman to me just doesn't do it for me. Superman not really. I can use Snooker's like the big names,
Yeah.
Iron Man, blah blah blah, this and that. X-Men now. X-Men has some really good stories too. But the thing about Spider-Man is like he tells stories from a perspective of like being powerless and then becoming powerful and then having the responsibility to treat people with kindness. And that's something that I think gets skipped in a lot of movies, stories where the person becomes powerful and then they don't have kindness anymore. They almost forgot what it's like to be weak. Peter doesn't do that. So I want his stories to be told and be appreciated. I don't want him to have a bunch of bad movies or problems. So again, I just hope that however this goes, they do the Spider-Verse, they bring in new actors to be like Spider-Gwen, to be Silk, to be Miles Morales, because they got, remember Jamie Foxx, like, there gotta be a black Spider-Man somewhere. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all that stuff has to happen and it be a cohesive story that people can enjoy and have these lessons and this great power comes great responsibility ideal. And and even the skeptical, put you on a mercy mission, situation where people say being kind is not a weakness.
Yeah.
It's a responsibility that you have as somebody who's able to hurt people to also protect people too, right? Like and Spider-Man to me embodies at the best. So yeah, I mean they could make Andrew Garfield come back and that'd be great. But I do want to see everybody integrated into like, you know what I'm saying? Into like one movie, Spider-Verse movie, and maybe even eventually Avengers and X-Men and like, all that stuff like that. I want these stories to get told. So hopefully Sony doesn't like just
I know,
split
right?
off.
That'll be such a bummer because like imagine like this movie and they're like, well, bye, deuces.
Yeah, I mean, we've successfully bolstered the popularity of all of our Spider-Man.
And now we're gonna break your heart more than we've done before.
Yeah, but hopefully with that success, maybe Sony, you're right, maybe Sony does go off with Andrew Garfield and do something separately and tell the stories that we haven't seen with him and with Toby, and they can have their own separate world, and they've proven that they can handle that on their own. So they maybe do that. And anytime Holland under like Kevin Feige's tutelage, like under his care, and he does his thing with the Avengers. So I don't know, man. There's a lot of possibilities right now.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. And like I said, and like for you, like kind of like Hugh said, I kind of hope they kind of still keep them in the universe. Like I'm talking about all three Spider-Man. So like hopefully they come back later on in future projects. Multiversal madness. Who knows? Sam Raimi's directing that. Who knows? So yeah, dude. I mean, dude, we were on here for 2 hours, so like I'm gonna let you go for your day, bro.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah, but again, dude, it's awesome that like we're able to have these interviews every time that you come on and just nerd out, and like hopefully we keep on doing the same, especially when Multiversal Madness comes out, because I know my mind's gonna be racing after that movie.
I'll definitely be back for that, and like this conversation is good for me because then it gives everybody else a break. You know what I mean?
It really was, dude. It's the same thing for me because I've just been like talking people's ears off about the movie, and they're like, "Okay, Gia, we get it, dude. Like, you love the movie. Shut the hell up now."
Yeah, man. And it's like some people haven't seen it yet, so you gotta kind of like be like, "Oh, talking around it." So today, I saw it by myself. My friend came to see it with me, and I also like on the left, But like my friend came to see it with me, so we talked about it for a little bit. But like, we're busy, so we weren't going to talk about it too much. So my other friends from New York, they saw it. And we had a couple conversations, but again, Christmas time, everybody's busy, so we haven't got a chance to really talk about it. This is my first time getting to like go through it scene by scene and talk about it. And also, I haven't been able to watch any videos about it yet because I can't watch them in the house with my wife, and then she ends up getting spoiled too.
Yeah.
So I'm trying. Hopefully she didn't hear me talking to her.
I know. Hey, again, bro, man. Like I said, same thing with Spider-Man says. With great power comes great responsibility, and that's what we have right now. I mean, we have to make sure all these other fans get to experience the same thing we did on opening night. So, dude, before we go, again, do you want to plug in your social medias, your website, so everyone can go and watch you?
Oh yeah, it's Dwight Grant MMA on Instagram, at Dwight Grant on Twitter, and my JRPG for like Japanese role playing games. I have jrpgamers.com. So check that out too.
Do it, yeah. So again, Dwight, thank you for this. I needed this therapy session about the movie.
No, thank you. We're together.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm definitely gonna need it again in a couple months after that Doctor Strange movie. So again, man, I can't wait to talk to you again. And everyone watching, peace.